Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode. Got a lot going on today in the markets as far as Pulsechain's going. There was a tweet update by Richard Hart that it's coming soon. We're going to take a look at that. So we got a lot to talk about. Whoops. My bad. So yeah, despite the world seeming like it's going to come to an end, to a lot of people, for some reason, crypto's pumping, and HEX is getting a little bit of a pump as well. So that's awesome. Looks like that tweet update of Pulsechain that gave the original pump, the decorrelated pump, is sort of sustaining itself. So that's great. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at the news. We're going to look at my strategy that I tweeted for avoiding ETH gas fees. A lot of people are buying ETH right now so they don't have to pay heavy gas fees. I think there might be a better strategy that people aren't thinking about. So we're going to talk about all that. What's going on in the chat? What's going on, Bob Stutz? Always enjoy having you here. Act Psychological, good morning, good morning. Good afternoon. Bet4, hello. J Touch 99, hello for great streams. Thank you, J Touch. And YNWA Hex. What's going on, friend? Humberto. Seen you in the comments. I was actually responding to comments lately, so I appreciate all your comments, and I'm going to try and get to as many as I can. But don't think you're left behind. There's just a lot going on. But I plan on getting to all that. And obviously, just go make sure you hit the like button on your way in. Appreciate it. Right now, we go to the Bitcoin chart. Right now, Bitcoin's at 24,844. Struggling to get above this resistance. We thought we had it last time, and obviously it wicked up and came back down. So we're gonna be monitoring the situation closely, like the Fed says, right? We're gonna be monitoring the situation closely and seeing what happens. But after all this news, and Bitcoin not being down considerably, can we safely assume that the bottom is in? Can we safely assume that the bottom is in? I think at this point you'd have to say that. Unless maybe a bank goes under or something, or massive depegging of USDC because they were in the bank that goes under, and the Fed obviously doesn't want to step in. Then we could be having some problems. But all indicators are saying otherwise. So I think that it is fair to say that the Bitcoin bottom is in, and there's no 11K in prey, unless you want to say that this is the longest bear market of all time. So yeah, that's the Bitcoin price. HEX price looking kind of strong. It's confirmed 5 daily candles above this point of resistance over here. It's now fighting this resistance from here and here. And if we break above that, obviously we have our cup and handle target of 12 cents. It's looking like 12 cents is really on the horizon. Again, showing like the V3 bug fix tweet update pump is looking quite sustainable right now. We do have the bearish divergence. I do have to point that out. So maybe we could have a little bit of a pullback to 7 cents, or worst case scenario, 5.3 cents. But maybe not. I mean, I guess a lot of it really depends not only on the broader markets, but also on the Pulsechain news and testnet V3 being launched. People have been saying for days I can say this like every time. People have been saying for days that it's days away, but it's still not here yet. So I don't know. I did say 2 weeks like a couple days ago. I said 2 more weeks. I don't know. I think it's going to happen very suddenly and when no one's thinking it will. But we're going to see what happens. Hopefully, we'll also get another update on what needs to be completed, right? It got completely synced. So we need to know what needs to be done at this point before it launches, because the Block Explorer was updated, the UI for Pulsechain.com, everything was synced, all the bugs were fixed. So hopefully it'll be launching very soon, and we can go to 12 cents and maybe 20 cents. I think Funding Jim said 20, and 15 to 20, and then 25, maybe 25 to 35 for mainnet. But you know what? If HEX, if his time frame, which people were hating in the comment section that he was fudding because he said 6 months of V3 to mainnet, and he wasn't fudding. That's not fudding. That's just being conservative. But if it's 6 months, then we could have probably a pullback, but ultimately way higher price targets for the mainnet launch, because that means that it's going to take more time, and more time means it's going to be launching closer to the bull market, which hopefully will come as scheduled, obviously. But yeah, that's what's going on there. We could take a look at the crypto bubbles. Very green day. The biggest gainer is GRT, and AGIX does not stop. Shout out to AGIX. AGI, the AI token. It's been one of the biggest gainers for quite some time. And obviously, HEX is doing pretty well at 5.5 relative to the rest of the market. Then we got the HEX daily stats, which you should be checking every day. Today's payout is 6.38 HEX per T share. And we have 164 changing current holders. That's excellent. 164 changing current holders. 27 changing current miners. So yeah, double digit. That is 5 consecutive days of triple digit on boards of current holders, and at all-time highs at current holders and current miners. So that's pretty excellent. It's looking good, guys. I think the future's bright, if you'd ask me. But yeah, 50 people watching. Just make sure you hit that like button and you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And go give me a follow on Instagram, please. Posted a new clip, but I only have 55 followers, and there are 50 watching. So I'll drop the link. Drop the link in the chat. Go give me a follow on Insta, okay? Sky B, what's going on, Sky B? I think Bitcoin will get another dump to these levels sometime in Q3, Q4 this year. A dump to these levels. So you're of the opinion that we bottomed. I think you might be right. Bet4 says, I don't know why I still hold some BTC. I should just sell it and get more HEX. Not a bad idea, in my opinion, but obviously not financial advice. Metastaying, what's going on, man? Metastaying is a Patreon. Just a reminder, you too can be a Patreon. Links in the description. Get a weekly Zoom meeting, Discord, courses, DMs, discounts, all these awesome benefits. Get in the community, get in the inside, get access to my trades and portfolio. Links in the description. It's days away. How many is the question? Very true. More time to accumulate. I think you got the title wrong. What's wrong with the title? Mike Peltz, not too soon. I wish people would just stop with the 24, 48 hour predictions. Just don't see Pulsechain being out before July. Well, we're talking about V3. V3 is for sure going to be out before July. I mean, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. Yeah, we're talking about V3 here. That could actually be days away, but I feel you. It is annoying. Everyone's saying a day in 2 days. So I feel you on that, Mike Peltz. Peltz. HEX is the link to Pulsechain if you missed Sachs. Yes, we're going to be talking about that, Matt. Kev, 2 trillion. I think so, yeah. Davis, what's going on, man? The 20-minute V3 predictions. Maybe we'll get to some of that. But nobody knows. Based on all the news, V3 should be here already. Question is what's taken so long? And we can only speculate. But just a reminder also, go to furufinance.com and book a free call with me today. Go schedule your free call on your time. But yeah, for the news, first thing we got is Johnny Chaos. This is an interesting thing because Richard Hart got in the thread. That's why I wanted to put it out there. But he said this on my show also. So $10 million stands between us and 5-cent HEX. If the paper hands could stop checking out, lol, that's a 40% move. But no, y'all want to garage sale that, bleep, go ahead. And then Richard Hart said, now that's not how it works, because he's looking at Uniswap V3, I think, and he put in a $10 million buy, and it says your cost is going to be 12.5 cents. But Richard Hart said that would be your price as you bought up all the cheaper supply on the way up. The coins at the end of that trade would be far higher in price. Your screenshot shows an average of your entry, not the price movement underlying. Thus, price goes higher, which is, first of all, crazy. So $10 million market bought into HEX would drive it up to way more than 12 cents. But yeah, it's saying the average cost because, your buy pushes the price up, so you get everything on the way up there. But then Patrick Stanton tagged me. And first of all, Patrick, shout out to you. Thanks for tagging me. I keep telling them this. Hopefully they believe me now. I always appreciate words of wisdom from the King of Hearts. I think I did believe you, but maybe I didn't. But I believe you. That makes a lot of sense. Shout out to you for tagging me in there. We love Patrick Stanton. And then we got your friend Sami. So one day CZ will have to list Pulsechain on CoinMarketCap, and everyone will see HEX pumping despite not paying bribes to the exchange cartels for a listing. And PulseX will overtake PancakeSwap's volume because we are the new shiny object. So yeah, awesome words from Sami. And I know he's been watching the show because I've been on that recently, that the gatekeeping will inevitably end, or else it will considerably slash the integrity of these centralized exchanges and these, figureheads in crypto. Because once everyone hears about HEX, if people see that it's being gatekept, it will flagrantly display the corruption of Changpeng Zhao and CoinMarketCap. So I think that, it's only a matter of time, and it's already happening because you have big names that are calling out Binance for gatekeeping, like Mason Crypto. Shout out to Mason Crypto. We salute him, even though he doesn't want to go all in on HEX, but he's doing something. And Ivan on Tech, or should I say, Ivan on HEX. Yes, they both been tagging CoinMarketCap and tagging Binance for gatekeeping. And you too can tag them and maybe they'll see it. So shout out to your friend Sami. Makes for a lot of great content on the show. And he's in the comments of my show a lot. So I think he listens and he follows me. I really like him. He had an awesome video. Guys, check out his video on Andre Cronier or Cronje. Andre Cronje of Phantom. Him explaining why, pumpamentals and innovation doesn't necessarily matter if you don't have a charismatic leader, which they don't have, which is why so many of his projects, despite being so innovative and so disruptive, they could not self-sustain. So that was one of my favorite videos I've seen on crypto of all time. So yeah, go check that out. And Crypto Bigfoot says, that wasn't my line. It was going around, but it's funny. Yeah. Ivan on Hex. So shout out to my friend Sami, and shout out to his Andre Cronier video. Let me see if I can find it. Because I did tag him on that. Where is it? I'm gonna link it if I could find it. Oh, there we go. Right here. Right over here. Brilliant analysis on picking winning projects in crypto by my friend Sami. Shout out to Sami. Yeah, he's awesome. So go give him go subscribe to his YouTube channel. It's been growing very quickly, and he's gotten over 7,000 followers. He must be doing something right, okay? I don't agree with him on everything, but he must be doing something right. And then we got him again. I don't know if he's right about this one, but he says data shows majority of sackers for Pulsechain put in $100 to $1,000. I think we can go to 100x for Pulsechain, but not 1,000x in first cycle. It's hard for all 1,000 sackers to become millionaires and the 100K dudes to make 100 million. I want to be wrong about all this. Hope it overshoots. So yeah, he's saying that Pulsechain is not going to do an 1,000x and most likely only going to do, it's funny how we say only, like we get so spoiled in not in crypto, because crypto mostly does under 100x, but in Hex where there was a 10,000x, like everyone's so spoiled that there's like an outrage from 100x. It's like, what? Only 100x? It's like BitBoy Crypto was like raging about projects that did maybe a 50x or a 75x. And like, if you dare say Pulsechain or Pulsechain is going to do under like a 300-400x, like it's like, how dare you? But I don't know. He does get caught up in like these market caps, like it can't go that high kind of thing. When first of all, theoretically, nothing's preventing it from happening, provided that all sackers, buy and hold. The thing is, I'd imagine a large percentage of them are not so enthusiastic about crypto at this point. Like, for example, I got many friends and relatives. They're part of those $100 to $1,000 wallets. They're probably going to sell either too early or too late. I think even a lot of people that are very enthusiastic are going to sell too early or too late. That's just what happens in crypto. So I think just because, a lot of people got in with $100 or $1,000, right, doesn't mean they're all going to hold to 100,000 or $100 million. I think most of them won't. And that's why I keep saying, even if you believe Pulsechain, PLS, and PLSX are going to outperform HEX, which is debatable considering there's copies on HEX and there's yield, right? You're still not going to hold it from bottom to top. Like, you're not going to get those multiples. You're going to be, especially if you don't have that HEX staking ladder where, you know that whatever you do, like, you know, you have that like assurance that you're gonna make it, you're gonna prosper from all the future multiples, all the future price performance and HEX. Like if you're just sitting there, you know, only in Pulse and PulseX, you're gonna be paper hands, dude. You're gonna either diamond hand it until you're down 95% and then sell because you're going to think it's going to go down another 50%. So that'll be 97.5 or something. And then maybe catch it on the rip or some kind of thing. Or you're going to sell it too early and then maybe buy back in after it's already too late. I've just been through it so many times. So I think most people are just going to get out at the wrong time. And I wouldn't even put myself or anyone for that matter as the exception. That's why I think HEX is really the key to financial freedom. I think other cryptos like Pulse and PulseX can also provide you financial freedom, but it's not as much of a sure thing. So I do think Pulse could do, I don't know about enough PulseX, I think it could do more than 100x. I don't know about 1000x. And I've been saying that for a while. That was one of my first videos and most viewed videos. But I think it could do way more than 100. And I don't think a lot of people becoming millionaires is gonna be something that prevents it from happening. That's like the market cap argument that Richard Hart makes, that it never stops the price from going up. So yeah, that's what I'd say. I'm gonna respectfully disagree with Sami on this one, but I would never count him out, but I think he's wrong. And I think he's wrong because, one, I don't think that a lot of people becoming millionaires is going to prevent the price from going up. You see what happened with HEX. There were a lot of people that put in very little money that are now millionaires. And there was no rule that said that if there are so many millionaires or so many people with $100,000, the price is just going to stop. It could go on forever. I mean, it could keep on going up and to the right. And you saw that with Bitcoin. The difference is Bitcoin, obviously, most of the people got out early. And I think with Pulse and PulseX, I think most people are going to get out early or late. I think that's just what happens. That's just the name of the game. Most people can't stomach the volatility, except for like the top wallets, because they're already rich people. So shout out to Sami. I'm going to like, but I'm not going to retweet. But if I like, does that mean that I agree? I don't know. But I don't know. You can't not like Sami. You know what I'm saying? You can't not like Sami. And yeah, we got a Pulsechain update from Richard Hart. You know what would be really decentralized? Another Ethereum. You could call it Pulsechain. Testnet v3 coming soon. There you go. He said coming soon. Are we days away? Is it 24 hours away? Could it be here any second? Like tomorrow? Like maybe it's out right now. Chill. No, but I think it's close. I said, okay, one more week and 2 days. We're 1 week and 2 days away from V3. Right? 1 day, 1 week, 2 days. Because everything's synced, but something's obviously happening, so that needs to be taken care of. And it's going to take 1 week and 2 days. And clip it, and if I'm right, then obviously post it on everywhere. And if I'm wrong, then don't post it, or I'm going to copyright strike you. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. So yeah, that's the Pulsechain update. Richard Hart said it's really close, and then everyone goes boom, ho, hashtag HEX. They quote tweet it, hashtag it's here. Boom. All eyes on Pulsechain. Pulsechain saves us from high Ethereum gas fees. A few minutes after. Yeah, no disrespect. I don't like quote tweeting unless I have something really serious to add. Or else I go in the comments because I don't want to, get in the way. I think if I like something and I don't have anything to add, I just give it a retweet. I don't want to take away from the artist's, what he brought to the world, making it more about me when it should be about the person that tweeted. That's the way I I see it personally. But no disrespect to anyone that's quote tweeting. That's just the way my Twitter goes. And let's take a look at the chat and see what's going on with you guys. 74 watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, follow me on Instagram at furu.finance. Okay, I'm trying to get to 100 followers. Right now we're at 55. Okay? Get me to I deserve 100 followers on Instagram, okay? If you could do that. But yeah, we're going to check out the chat. We're going to go a little bit back. Pulsechain and Pulsex might 1000x. I'll tell you, PLS could easily 1000x because Phantom's a layer 1. It did like a 2-3,000. Pulse is a better layer 1. Pulse is an innovative layer 1. Pulse is copying the system state of the Ethereum network with activity on it. And it's proof of stake, unlike ETH, FAIR, and POW. So I definitely think that it can be, like I said, I've been saying this for a while, the story of the upcoming bull market. Pulsechain will be the story of the upcoming bull market. PulseX can also do 1000x, but I think it's less likely, despite the buy and burn. Z says we will need sudden wealth syndrome therapists. Well, that's what Matty Allen's here for. And he's here for a lot of other great things. But he did take it upon himself to really put an effort into that. And he's been doing a great job. And you guys should be subscribed to Matty Allen. Spelled Allin. He is a therapist also. And he is a neuroscientist. He's really smart. And yeah, I can't wait for those problems, man. Can't wait till the problems go from 97% dips and people saying it's going to go under a penny and Pulse is never going to launch. The problem goes to, in vampire attacks, the problem goes to, we have all this money. We have all this money. What are we going to do with all this money, man? It's terrible. Like, everyone wants to be my friend because I'm rich, and all the girls, want to get their hands on me because I'm so rich and I drive. It's just, can I trust them? Like, all these girls that are all over me, could I trust them, man? They might just want my money. Oh, so terrible. Oh, can't get their hands off me. Maddie, what do I do? Oh, Chris A said I started the Ivan on Hex things weeks ago. Shout out to you, Chris A. I'm going to write that down. I hope you're not lying because I'm going to write it down and I'm going to say it was Chris A. I'm going to say it was Chris A every time that. 1 second. You better not be lying about coining it because I'm going to attribute it to you. I want you to tag me on a quote tweet of the Ivan on Hex. Shout out to Chris A. That's a really good one. And I put it in my thumbnails with Ivan, and they've gotten a lot of views. So thank you. What's up, Hexual Ceiling? Hexual Ceiling. Keep up the good work. Thank you. How many other projects founders go on YouTube and live stream with their community? Charles Hoskinson does it. I wish Richard did it more. I think he just doesn't want to because there's no Pulsechain news yet. I think Johnny Chaos said he's going to start doing it more when Pulsechain comes out. We'll see. I hope he doesn't become a Vitalik where he's just like kind of above the community. But who knows? I think it'll do well either way. Brizology is here. What's going on, Mr. Brizology? You guys following Brizology on Twitter? HEX is the key to financial freedom. Yeah. Commander Whitehead. Hopefully liquid loans and Power City can incentivize people to take loans and not dump the price. I made a video about liquid loans saying maybe the loans thing is not, it's not bad per se, but like I think people are really going to abuse it. But yeah, hopefully people won't dump. I would not want people dumping Pulsechain, but I wouldn't want people getting liquidated also. What's going on, Stefan? Thank you for tuning in. I see you on Twitter, man. I like what I see, and I appreciate you retweeting me. So, guys, follow Stefan on Twitter. What's going on, Justin Uwadia? Hey, Furu, how's it going? How's it going, Justin? Thanks for tuning in, Justin. Chris A says, I like the idea of V3 on spring equinox, and then we have solar and lunar eclipses on 420 and 5/5 respectfully. Okay, let me just say, everyone's talking about like these moon cycles and astrology for investing, and there's a big YouTube account that does that, implements a lot of things that, you know, a lot of the occult, so to speak, for predicting market prices. So I'm like, hey, let me go and see if let's see his track record. So I go back to the date of the Bitcoin top. I'm like, what was he saying then? And guess what? After all his astrology and numerology and Shemitah and Gematria and everything, guess what? He was calling for way higher prices. He was in that euphoric state than everyone else was in. So I think people need to accept that there's nothing that is going to there's no, you know, occult spiritual edge that's going to get you ahead in the markets. And that's no disrespect to, you know, these cultures and all these things. I'm not saying there's no truth to it. I'm saying that it is unproven that lunar cycles or gematrias or Shemitah or anything for that matter is going to get you a leg up in the markets. What works is research and buying and holding. But we could discuss that more in the Patreon. Get in the Patreon. Oh, there's a lot of tweets. I gotta. Intense Taekwondo says Pulsechain and Pulsex can do a 10,000x. I saw HEX go up from scratch. I agree. I think it can. But congratulations to you. You must be really rich. So you are awesome. And go pat yourself on the back for getting him from scratch. I think Brizology also got in. Hypergamy. It's in there. It's hypergamy. Don't be mad at the scorpion who stings you. Brizology, are you an OG? Briz. I think he is. It's so unbelievable. This might be life-changing chance. Anyone else feel it's too good to be true? It did make mad gains in crypto, but it's so mind-boggling. Listen, it's happened before, dude. Like, it's nothing new to crypto. People making ridiculous multiples. It usually doesn't happen. Most cryptos suck, which is why it bothers me when, you know, despite the opportunity presented, people just are so trigger happy to go to the next shiny object. But it does happen, and I think it will happen, especially with someone like Richard, the caliber of Richard Hart, right? What's going on, Todd? Hope you are well, and thanks for the streams. Well, I hope you are well, Todd. And guess what? The other day we got snow. We got snow in New York, so I was thinking maybe I should, message Todd. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, Todd. Appreciate you. Appreciate you being a Patreon and supporting the show. It's probably documented in some stream. Okay, screenshots would work, but we're gonna take your word for it. Shout out to Chris A. Fix your hey. What's with the language, dude? Let me see. It's really wrong? Let me see. It's right. Billy, 2 billion. It's right. The title's right. You're wrong. The title's right. You're wrong, Kev83. I found Hex because I heard there was free coffee. So you're an OG? I think so. You're also welcome on the show because you're here in the comments a lot, and I seen you on Matty Allen as well. I don't know why you haven't been on. You're always welcome on the show. We're talking about being able to trust a female after getting rich. Hypergamy is the act of seeking a higher status companion. Women seek wealth and power in men. It's in their nature. Yeah, it's true. You guys are going to have to deal with it when all the women are all over you. Sorry. And Brazology is the day one hex skin. There you go. How'd you find him? How did everyone find him on Max Kaiser? He was not really such a big deal. It's interesting, like, just how everyone found him so early, but it's not fair. I guess if you were in Bitcoin, you heard of him. He was big in Bitcoin. It's like the way people know about me and Hex. Like, when Bitcoin wasn't big, it was a niche, and Richard Hart was just like one of those people. Like, he wasn't big, but he was big in Bitcoin. I mean, that's probably what it is. But yeah, just a reminder, go follow me on Instagram. Brazology, do you have Instagram? Go follow me, and I'll follow you back. It's furu.finance. 56 followers. All right, next up is how to avoid the HEX gas fees. You guys wondering if you're going to be spending so much in Ethereum and gas fees when the market goes up, right? HEX is going to go up, but you're going to be spending maybe thousands of dollars on unlocking your stakes and cashing out. Well, guess what? I have the solution, and it's not what you think it is. So everyone thinks that in order to take care of the HEX gas fees, they need to be buying ETH now. They need to be buying a lot of ETH now. And by the way, until very recently, I was spending a lot of money on ETH because I figured might as well get it while it's cheap, so I don't have to go on the market and spend thousands of dollars, to buy ETH, and then, couple maybe tens and to send it to my MetaMask, and then every transaction a couple $100. Like, let's say I want to cash out some or use ETH or send it somewhere, a couple hundred, maybe even $1,000. So everyone's like, let's load up on ETH now, so it's not a problem. So that is what I was thinking, but then I realized something. I realized that if you believe HEX is going to outperform ETH, and it's probably going to outperform it by a lot like it did last cycle, instead of holding liquid ETH, all you need is to instead buy liquid HEX and leave it liquid, don't stake it, and have just enough ETH for one trade, right? So I bet like $100 will most certainly be enough for one trade on Uniswap. And then basically once you're ready and you want some ETH, you just trade that liquid HEX, and it will be worth more ETH than you could even imagine that you could even do with, right? Because if HEX outperforms ETH, then you'll get a lot more US dollars worth of ETH by just holding liquid HEX. And then once you need to, undo your stake and make some trades, whatever, you sell some of that for ETH on Uniswap, and then you're good. You might not even need to sell a significant amount of it, and you could stake the HEX or take profits or whatever you want. So this is the tweet. The tweet is, are you buying tons of ETH in order to trade or unstake HEX during the bull market? Big mistake. Instead, hold HEX liquid, and when needed, trade it for ETH. If HEX outperforms ETH, most likely, which it most likely will, which I'm sure you guys agree because you're here, and you're not in the ETH streams. They don't even have any streams. You're not in the BitBoy or Carl the Moon streams. So you probably do believe that HEX is going to outperform ETH. So hold liquid HEX. And if HEX outperforms ETH, you'll have way more ETH in comparison to buying HEX now instead of in comparison to buying ETH now instead of HEX. Yeah. So if HEX runs up against ETH, you're better off just holding maybe $50 worth of ETH and then holding the rest instead of spending $1,000 on ETH, you'll spend $1,000 on HEX, and that could maybe get you a lot of ETH when needed, and may not even need to sell a significant amount of HEX. So that's something interesting. That's something that I never heard of. I think this is my idea. I'm going to coin it mine. That holding liquid HEX can solve your gas fees, can solve the gas fee issue. So you might want to hold liquid HEX not only for buying PLS and PLSX at launch, but also to trade for ETH when you need a swap. And also dollar cost averaging into ETH, that pumps Vitalik's bags, not your bags. So yeah, consider this, guys, especially if you have a lot of stakes coming up in the upcoming bull market, which hopefully will happen very soon, which is looking like it's going to happen very soon. Consider holding liquid HEX and just enough ETH for what's it called? For your first trade. The hexadentialist is saying I can't coin that. Why not? You only need enough ETH to approve the spend. Can use gasless transactions now on various dexes like CowSwap and 1inch. How does that work? How's it gasless? I heard of the CowSwap. People have been talking about it. And I know they had a hack. But also, we're not just talking about swaps. We're talking about unstaking. The unstaking is the most expensive feature. It's not the swaps. So even if there is a solution to the gas fees with CowSwap and 1inch, which I don't know, I'm not so familiar with it. You're still going to need a lot more in order to unstake, which is why you could just hold liquid HEX or another coin that you think is going to do really well. Loads of people have been saying that, including myself. Oh, you've been saying that? Oh, I didn't know. Fine. If you said that, then I won't make it mine. Swap the HEX for ETH. You think the regular Joe retail investor is going to buy EHEX once Pulsechain launches? I don't. EHEX going to be an OG club soon. Maybe, but that doesn't mean it's not going to. I still think it's going to outperform Ethereum. And Brizology says you allow the swapping site the ability to reach your wallet and take out unlimited funds. That's how you do a gasless swap. I think the buyer pays the gas fee or something. Okay, there you go. There's risk. And I heard they had a hack. We could actually look this up if you want. CowSwap hack. Yeah, there you go. CowSwap hackers Milks over 550 BNB using solver exploit. I'm not messing with this. Yeah. I'd stay away from it personally, but it's up to you. It's completely up to you. But we got 87 people watching, so please smash that like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, if you need help navigating these markets or navigating the Pulsechain launch and things like that, click the link in the description and book a free one-on-one with me. And also become a Patreon. Check out the cool benefits there, and follow me on Instagram. That there's no excuses. You need to follow me on Insta. I'm putting the link in the description, link in the chat. And we're going to get into the whole banking situation. Go follow me at furu.finance on Instagram. But yeah, so now we have the banking situation. The big news is from Reuters that Credit Suisse is getting 54 billion lifeline, limited respite to global banks. So it looks like the Swiss National Bank is going to give a loan of 54 billion to Credit Suisse because they're in trouble. So the Swiss lender, so Credit Suisse sought to shore up its liquidity and restore investor confidence on Thursday by borrowing up to 54 billion from Switzerland's central bank, though it proved to offer only limited respite to global banking stocks. The Swiss lender is the first major global bank to be thrown an emergency lifeline since the 2008 financial crisis, and its troubles have raised serious doubts over whether central banks will be able to sustain aggressive rate hikes. However, the European Central Bank raised interest rates by 50 basis points on Thursday as flagged, stressing the resilience of the euro area banking sector while assuring it had plenty of tools to offer liquidity support if needed. The European Central Bank said it was monitoring the current market tensions closely and stands ready to respond as necessary to preserve price stability and financial stability in the euro area. So that is a very significant statement, that they're saying that they will respond if necessary, which implies that they're not going to let these banks fail, meaning they'll extend credit if necessary, like the Swiss bank did, and like the Federal Reserve has done with Silicon Valley Bank and what's the other one? Signature Bank. So that was like, so yeah, that's the thing. The thing is, they did raise 50 basis points, nevertheless, which is interesting and kind of stupid. So that makes you wonder what the U.S. central bank is going to do this upcoming FOMC. But let's get into that, because next thing is the Fed emergency loan may bring $2 trillion into the U.S. banking system, according to JP Morgan. $2 trillion. The U.S. banking sector is facing massive financial repercussions as the collapse of major banks like Silicon Valley Bank has disrupted the industry, while other banks are considered to be at risk. The Federal Reserve had to ease the ongoing liquidity crisis in the country, according to JP Morgan Chase and Co. According to JP Morgan, the Fed's emergency loan program is expected to bring in $2 trillion worth of funds in the U.S. banking system. Through this, the current liquidity issues might be resolved for now. After the failure of 3 lenders, U.S. authorities established the scheme earlier this month. The program was set to provide an additional source of liquidity to these institutions. Alongside, it will eliminate the need to sell securities during a crisis swiftly, because they could borrow against their securities, right? Even though their securities on the market would trade at a huge discount, they could. The Fed is basically saying they're going to allow these banks to borrow against it at face value. Free money. Although it is doubtful the large banks will use the program, they indicated that the initiative maximum utilization is expected to be close to $2 trillion. That is on par with the value of bonds owned by U.S. banks, except the 5 largest institutions elaborating the same strategist led by stated. Don't know his name. So there you go. I mean, the takeaway from this is that the banks, the Fed, they're extending credit up to the value of the bonds on all these smaller banks. They're not going to let them fail. They are not going to let them fail. And then you have obviously the Swiss bank. Seems like it's not going to let Credit Suisse fail. So unlike in 2008, where they actually let Lehman go under and then bailed out all the other banks, it seems like the market is pricing in that the Fed is going to step in if need be, and they already have stepped in. So if in the future there is more of a liquidity crisis, the Fed is going to step in. So it's looking like none of these banks are going to fail. So none of these banks are going to fail, which is, I guess, bullish. So yeah, so that's why, despite all this horrible news, you still have upward price action in the stock in crypto markets, including HEX. So I mean that's pretty big. And I think what's interesting though is people are talking about, the big question is, what's the Fed going to do in this upcoming meeting? Everyone's saying that it's going to be that they're not going to raise rates, because raising rates will only continue to devalue the bonds on the bank's balance sheet, which would make them, more susceptible to being insolvent. So I think that's it was considered like for sure a no that this upcoming, for sure a no, not for sure. People were saying 25. But it's interesting that the ECB nevertheless raised 50. So I think, according to me, which obviously may be wrong, but it seems to me like, but also they didn't have the Silicon Valley Bank. They didn't have bank runs in Europe yet. And that was already starting to happen in the US. So I would have to guess, I think the Fed is going to come out in the next meeting, which is in like a week or two or something, and they're going to say that we're not going to raise rates this time, but we're going to be monitoring inflation closely and ensuring price stability, blah, blah, blah. And I don't think there's going to be they're not going to raise rates. They're going to say that they're looking closely and they're going to react based on how markets play out and based on how the CPI plays out. But with the CPI being at 6%, down another 0.4, I think and obviously the usual liquidity crisis, it's fair to say that it's very likely we're done with the rate hikes. And I don't know how long they can keep them like this. It's very possible, and I think probable, that the Fed's gonna take the foot off they're gonna take their foot off the brakes. Probably a lot earlier than anticipated. People are saying end of year. With this already happening, now they're probably gonna have to cut soon. And yeah, think about it. Like when they said they were going to raise rates and do whatever it takes to fight inflation, they were expecting unemployment to go up, and they were down to keep on raising rates despite rising unemployment. They did not expect a liquidity crisis. And it's looking like, I'm saying, like, if things keep on going on as is, there are going to be a lot of banks that are insolvent, especially considering that there's so little trust in the banking system right now. So I think the good news is that probably there's going to be a Fed pivot quicker than people think, maybe within the next 3 to 4 months or something. 3 to 4 months, they could already start cutting it. But the bad news is that probably we're going to have above average inflation at least for some time. But even so, I think crypto is going to moon if there's low interest rate hikes. So yeah, HEX will go to the moon, and maybe we'll get 3 to 4% inflation. But who knows? I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. We have 81 billion watching. We have 81 people watching. Please hit the like and subscribe. And please go to the furufinance.com and book a free one-on-one. Join the Patreon, links in the description. Follow me on Insta, furu.finance. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back to answer all your questions. And we're back. Yeah, the overall point is if you're the Fed and you have to choose between the entire financial system going under and therefore, every single business losing all their money and not being able to make payroll and not being able to sustain themselves and everyone losing their jobs and, people starving on the streets, or prolonged elevated inflation, I think you're going to choose prolonged elevated inflation. And I think that is what the Fed is going to choose, in my opinion, not financial advice. So HEX to the moon, maybe inflation goes 3-4% for the next couple of years. But I think inflation could still come down because as prices go up, people spend less, and then, less spending could lead to lower inflation. So I'm not even sold that there's going to be prolonged inflation, because I think prolonged inflation is very unsustainable in a first world country. That's what I talk about. But yeah, go please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Instagram at furu.finance. Whoops. Right here. Give me that follow, guys. At furu.finance on Instagram. But yeah, what's going on, guys? Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. I guess I'll scroll back some. Swiss Central Bank lost a bunch in 2022. Where are they getting the money? They're getting it out of thin air. Where are you getting your HEX? Okay, where are you getting your HEX when you end your stake and you get 38% APY? That's where the same source is where the Swiss Central Bank is getting their money. RH Max is here. What's going on, RH Max? Have you seen the new Jim Cramer Was Wrong song? Wow, no. Should we play it on the screen? I'm not so into making fun of Jim Cramer. I think it's a little cheap because he's on TV. He's the news. They say buy the rumor, sell the news. Jim Cramer's the news, but we'll put it up. Wait, how do I click the link? I can't click it on StreamYard. Can't click the link on StreamYard. Your title is wrong. It should be trillion, not billion. Oh, that's what you meant. Okay. Okay, I'm going to change it. Edit. $2 trillion. Save. Happy? Great. Sorry. No, let's find the Jim Cramer was wrong thing. Okay, we got it. Okay, we got it. We're gonna play it. We're gonna play it on the screen. Present, share screen. There we go.
What did I get wrong? Let's start with signature bank. The thing about signature is that it's a business-oriented bank, and you can make a lot of money working with it. That I regret. SBB Financial. Stock's still cheap. These stocks have more room to run. Wait a second.
I made a mistake. I was wrong. I trusted this man. That was ill-advised. I made a mistake. I was wrong. I trusted this man. That was ill-advised.
And you can make a lot of money working with it.
That was ill-advised.
Stock's still cheap.
That was ill-advised. I was wrong. I trusted this man. That was ill-advised.
It's cute. It's cute. It's cute. But also another thing is that he talks about different stocks all the time. So like it's also easy to pick the times he was wrong and things like that. I don't know. But yeah, when I'm on TV, I'm also always going to be wrong. Monica, what's going on, Monica? Pete Swag, I got banned from Twitter. I'm sorry to hear that. Damn. Like the Twitter updates. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. You can make a new one, plug it. Bit Finesse, what's going on? I follow you to the end of the financial world. Thanks, man. Then we can transition over to stable money. Is HEX stable money? Then a 10,000x and then a 97% correction. It's not stable money. But yeah, I'll ride it. HEX is going to be the global world reserve currency. If you got in on Pulsechain and Pulsechain, you won already. Yeah, for sure. What's up, OKRI? Hi there. 12 cents means Europe tour. Hey, if you have enough money with 12-cent HEX that you could fund my Europe tour, I'll go on a Europe tour. We could go together. You know, you could take me around. Just got my passport renewed, so yeah. Anybody wants to fund it, just go to the Patreon and I'll make a new category for $1,000 a month to fund my tours. But yeah, get into Patreon. HEX would be stable with global adoption. It would be less volatile. It wouldn't be stable. It'd be less volatile. Like Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's got global adoption, and that's why it only crashes 75, 80% instead of 97%. And it only pumps 20x. So it's still like a bad currency though, because people speculate on it, right? After doing like 1,000,000x. Bitcoin did 1,000,000x, and it's not stable. Part of what makes the dollar stable is that it's so inflationary, right? People don't want to hold it. It goes down against everything. No one's holding it for mad gains, so people are willing to spend. The day that HEX becomes stable is probably the day that you're not going to get the mad gains out of that. It's not going to be stable. It's never going to be stable. It's like Apple stock. Is Apple stock stable? It's less volatile because it had more adoption. It's more mature, but it's not stable. Right? Facebook. Let's get HEX to like Facebook, Facebook level adoption. And then we'll talk about global world reserve currency. Okay? Deal? Also, it has a mechanism in it to make it go up in value. Like it pays 38% APY. Like if you're paying, if I give you dollars, right? This is why raising rates is deflationary. If the Fed says we're raising rates to 20%, 23% on your US dollars, are you going to spend the dollars, or are you going to buy bonds with it, right? You're not going to buy stocks. You're not going to buy real estate. You're going to be very frugal because you know you're getting a high yield. It's the same thing with HEX. If you get the HEX, you can earn a high yield on it. Why would you spend it? If you don't spend it, then it's deflationary. Even though more comes into circulation, it's still deflationary, right? Chris A. We are nowhere near global adoption yet. There's 8 billion people here. How many hold HEX? 300,000 wallets or something, a small fraction. I agree. We're not near global adoption. It's true. We are early. The dollar isn't really stable. It's pretty stable when 9% inflation means there's a 9% correction and everyone's going nuts. That's a 9% correction. Bitcoin did a 70% correction. It's pretty stable. Got all my friends at the HEX Pulsechain and Pulsechain. And they must be really bothering you, right? When's that Pulsechain thing gonna launch? When's that Pulse thing gonna launch? When's that Pulsechain gonna launch? With global adoption, yield will top at 3.69 buys, but that's still a lot if you're millions. Spare money to time lock. No, it's not, because that assumes that 100% of the people are staking, and not 100% of the people, 100% of the supply is staked. Especially if it's the world reserve currency, a good amount of it's going to be liquid, right? So you'll get a lot more yield, hopefully, but it's not going to be as high as it is now, right? There's also an OA, and I hate to be like that OA guy, but I don't know if like the people in power are going to be okay with the global reserve currency with like such a significant amount being in the hands of like a private citizen. I I don't know though. The Fed is the Federal Reserve. It's not federal and it's not a reserve, right? And they get to hold all the money. So maybe the OA could be the new Federal Reserve, right? People are going to say this HEX is corrupt. It shouldn't be the world reserve currency, right? So much of the supply is in the hands of one person, and he's not part of the government. He's not federal, and he's not a reserve. Okay. Everything is energy. I set up all my onboards in a WhatsApp group. Nice. Nice. Hope they're not bothering you. Guys, do you have any questions about how to approach the Pulsechain launch? Or do you have any questions about crypto security, anything like that? Go book a free one-on-one. Links in the description with me. Schedule it on your own time. You could schedule it on your own time, at a time that's most convenient for you. And it'll be fun. And also consider becoming a Patreon, get access to my trades, my Discord group, meetings every Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern time with the community, and discounts and many other great benefits, exclusive content, my trades, my portfolio, how I'm navigating the markets. Links in the description. Get in the Patreon. Go support my work if you can, or even if you cannot. And also follow me on Instagram at Furu.Finance. It's fun to think about, but HEX being a legit currency won't happen. I agree. Yeah, let's not be delusional like the Bitcoiners. Like the Bitcoiners, basically, they have nothing going for them, so they have to create this narrative that's not grounded in reality, that they're going to become the world reserve currency. Anybody that knows anything about money knows that it'll never happen. But they have to be delusional, because that's really the only way to keep their system self-sustaining. So Bitcoin will never be the world reserve currency. It would suck as a currency. And it's for that reason that Bitcoin has done so much price appreciation in such little time. And it would make a horrible currency. So let's not be like the Bitcoiners. Let's be real, right? It's going to be the world reserve certificate of deposit. HEX could be the world reserve certificate of deposit. How many attended the last meeting? The Zoom meeting? Well, you could go check on my Instagram. I think we had 7 people. No, including me, maybe 10 people. I'll tell you right now. People come in and out, but at the most we had 7 people, including myself, and growing. So yeah, get in the Patreon. Get in the Patreon. It's really fun, these meetings. I'm telling you, it's really fun. And you get a lot of good insight. If Pulse does 100x, what will you do for out the gate? Well, if you're in my Patreon, you'll see my trades and portfolio balance and everything. But if it does 100x, hopefully I won't sell it, and I'll get the 1000x and the 10,000x and the 15,000x and the 1 millionx. But I'm definitely going to be selling some of my profit from the single-sided staking. And you know what? 100x might not be a bad time to take some profits if you need money, if I need money. But hopefully I won't need money. Hopefully I'll be so rich off, some HEX stakes maturing, or maybe people will get in the Patreon or book one-on-ones that I'll just never have to sell. So that's the plan. I want to be like the 1% that never sells, but it's definitely not a bad time to take profit. But it should also depend on where it's at in the cycle, where Bitcoin's at in the cycle. I think we're gonna have to react according to the situation. What's going to be PHEX market cap? 0 or the same with EHEX? Well, it's not going to be 0 because it'll have a price. launches at 0. It's like, okay, but no one's buying it at 0. Okay, it's not launching it. You know what I mean? But it can be the same as well, it's not going to be the same as EHEX, because even if it's at price parity, the circulating supply is not going to be the same, and market cap is price times circulating supply, right? So it's not going to be the same. It will be closer if it's at parity, but it's not going to be 0. And for more information, book a free 101. A free 101 with me. Free. Everything is Energy saying I will never sell PLS. Guys, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Taking back my principal, and the rest can ride after that. Okay. My wild guess, Pulse starts around 3x or so. Will take a long time to 100x. What do you mean by a long time? Because a long time in crypto, a long time is like 6 months. That's like forever. So do you mean 6 months, or you mean 6? Is it a crypto long time or a real long time? Kev83 says, why won't the supply be the same? Because, Kev83, the supply is dependent on how many. Well, actually, no, it's 3.69% inflation. So the supply will be the same. My bad. Yeah, I was thinking because there would be a different amount of staking on each chain, but the inflation is the same. It's just a matter of how much payouts you're going to get. So the supply will be the same. So we'll have the same supply. It's dependent on parity. So that means we'll have a good chance to make some X's on PX. Yeah, you'll have a good chance of making X's. I think if you think that PX is going to launch at like 0.001 cents or whatever, even a cent, when HEX on Ethereum's launching is starting when Pulsechain launches at like 20, I think is delusional, because I don't know. Either it does and it's quickly bought up before anyone could do anything, or it's not going to. I think it's going to launch at a very close price to the price of EHEX. And if, let's say, it launches cheaper, then probably there'll be some sell-off in EHEX and some buy-up in PHEX. But there's no way of knowing, which is why the best way to get PHEX is to buy EHEX. Especially because, let's say EHEX, let's say on Pulsechain launch, EHEX is 40 cents, right? And let's say you could get PHEX cheaper. So you'll get PHEX for 25 cents. Well, guess what? If you buy EHEX now, then you're getting PHEX for 8 cents. So that's an interesting, that's some food for thought, right? 6 years? No way. 6 years for 1000x? You're saying, I think it's going to be less. Crypto long time is 2 weeks. Yeah. Kev83 says it will be the same. Yes, it will be the same. Yeah. System stake copy. I was thinking it wouldn't, because I was thinking it would depend, right? The stakers get the inflation. So the inflations depend on how many people stake, but it's not, because inflation, it's just the payout would be different. The payout would be different. The inflation's going to be the same. Only 40K wallets sacked for PLS. Some sacked twice. Or Pulse has very little investors. It's true. And the same could be said for Pulse X. Even though it's more investors, a lot of them were for multiple wallets. And I could attest to that myself. So I think it's a lot less than 126,000 people who sacrificed. I think could be looking at maybe 40, 50,000. That makes a lot of sense, actually. And we could be looking at PLS. PLS is what? How many people sacked officially? Like 40,000. We could be looking at like 10 to 12,000 unique people that sacrificed. But yeah, 69 people watching this stream. If you're enjoying, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And follow me at furu.finance on Instagram. Okay? How many Insta followers do I have? I need 100 followers. This is pathetic. 62? Come on, man. I need 100. Looks bad. It looks bad. It's bad for HEX. It's bad for the brand. It's bad for the brand if I only have 50 followers. Exclusive content on the Instagram. Go click it right now. Get me to 100 followers on Instagram by the end of the stream, okay? V3 coming out in days. Be ready. Intense Taekwondo. All stakes are copied. It will be a mirror image on another chain. Suppose I could change a little after the snapshot. It could change. Not sure now. Well, no, it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same. I mean, the stake, the supply on the market's going to be different. Meaning, one chain is going to have more stakers and one's going to have less, which means the total supply, whatever. Because technically, when it's staked, it's not in circulation. So the circulating supply could be different, but the total supply, including staked, will be the same. But who cares? Market cap doesn't even matter, right? Got to listen to Johnny Chaos and Richard Hart. It's about the diamonds in the case. It's not about the amount of diamonds in circulation. It's about the diamonds in the case. Can't imagine how many plebs are going to be wrecked by ratioing to PLS. Phelan, what's going on? Yeah, I agree. I think the best thing to do is just buy HEX now, and hopefully, you'll get enough multiples that you'll get in cheaper than the Pulsechain sacrifice. Like, I bought some HEX at 1.7 cents, and I'm up 5x now. So if PLS launches at less than a 5x from sacrifice, or at a 5x from sacrifice, I'm getting in at a better rate. The combination of my HEX on Ethereum and Pulsechain is going to be a better rate than the sacrifice, right? My cost basis from buying the bottom of HEX. And I didn't just buy the bottom, guys. I also bought the top. I DCA. 64 people watching. Go hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Go follow me on Instagram at furu.finance. At furu.finance. Go book a free one-on-one with me today. Yeah, and I'm free, I think, sometime this afternoon and tomorrow if you guys want to book. And sometime tomorrow. Before the show tomorrow, I think. So yeah, go get in the description and go book it right now. Are there any more comments or questions before I close out the show? Last call. Appreciate you guys all watching, though. Appreciate you guys always tuning in. Hope you had fun. But I think that is going to be it for today. Just a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, follow me at furu.finance, get in the Patreon. I'm just going to link the Patreon in the chat. Got some awesome benefits, some awesome content there, and some awesome meetings. So yeah, please consider doing that. Consider following me on Insta at furu.finance, and consider booking a one-on-one. Links in the description. I will see you guys tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great rest of your day.